funny thing about storms. They leave scars you can see, and some you just feel. But both remind you what's worth rebuilding. When the last storm rolled through Dust Valley, it tore up more than just roads and signs. It stirred up the quiet parts of us, the parts we thought were safely buried. I've known this valley my whole life, seen it rise and fall, seen folks come and go, but I'd never seen anyone like her, Mara. She had a way of being still that made the whole world hold its breath. She'd step out of the diner, barefoot on the damp earth, a coffee cup in her hands, and just watch the horizon, like she was waiting for a message. Only she could read. After the storm, we started patching the town back together. The diner was a wreck, but bit by bit, the laughter started seeping back in, soft and cautious at first. I'd be fixing a chair, and she'd be painting over the cracks on the wall, turning something broken into something new. She was quiet, but her hands were always telling a story, in the strokes of her paintbrush, in the sketches she'd leave behind. I remember Belle, bless her heart, telling Mara she could just leave, start over somewhere clean, somewhere that didn't have so much dust and hurt baked into its soil. But Mara just smiled that gentle smile of hers and said, "The dirt's part of the story now." And I knew right then she wasn't just talking about the diner. She was talking about us. Later that afternoon, I was out on the back porch, just wrestling with my own thoughts. The world was finally settling down, but my mind was anything but. Mara came out and joined me. We just stood there for the longest time, listening. Not to words, but to everything else. The wind whispering through the broken fence. The birds finding their voices again. "You ever notice?" I asked her, breaking the spell. "It's never really silent here. Even the quiet's got a heartbeat." She looked out at the fields, and there was this depth in her eyes, like looking into a deep, clear well. "I used to think silence meant nothing," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Now it feels like everything I never said, waiting for you to hear it." I couldn't help but grin. This woman who spoke more with a single glance than most people do in a lifetime. "Then say it," I told her, gentle as I could. She looked down, her hands trembling just a little. I don't know how. It was the most honest thing I'd ever heard. "Start with my name," I said. She looked up, and her eyes were shining, full of unshed tears, and a universe of things I was just beginning to understand. "Eli," she whispered, and in that one word, I heard a whole story. A beginning. "See?" I told her, my voice softer than I meant it to be. "You already found the start." That evening, we found ourselves back at the diner. The place was lit by lanterns, casting a warm, flickering glow on everything. We sat at the same table where we'd first met, a couple of coffee mugs between us, side by side. It felt different this time, charged. She pulled a folded page from her sketchbook. I thought it would be a drawing, one of her beautiful, soulful sketches of the valley, but it wasn't. It was covered in words, written in her careful, deliberate hand. She took a deep breath, like she was diving into cold water, and began to read. "When I met you," she said, her voice steady, "I thought silence kept me safe. But you heard what I couldn't say, and somehow it made me braver." She paused and looked right at me, searching my face. All the air left my lungs. "So what are you saying now?" I asked, my heart hammering against my ribs. "That maybe. It's time I speak for myself," she said, a new strength in her voice. "No more notes, no more letters." And then she reached across the table and took my hand. Her touch was electric. "I love you, Eli." Just 3 words, but coming from her, they were the loudest, most powerful thing I'd ever heard. The wind chimes outside tinkled softly, like the world was applauding. A slow smile spread across my face. "Took you 5 parts to say it," I teased. She laughed. and it was the most beautiful sound, mixed with tears of relief and joy. Worth the wait? Every damn second. Later, as the sun set, we walked out into the fields, the same place we'd once stood so far apart. This time, our hands were linked, our steps in sync. The sky was on fire, painting the world in gold and orange. Silence doesn't mean nothing. It's the space where hearts learn to listen, and sometimes, to speak. I turned to her, tipping my hat with a grin. "You're talking a lot lately," I said. She grinned right back, the light catching in her eyes. "You're rubbing off on me." As night fell, we built a small fire under a blanket of stars. We just sat there, side by side. No words needed. I started humming some old slow tune, and she rested her head on my shoulder, fitting there like she was always meant to. She was too shy to speak, until I learned her silence was louder than any word I'd ever heard. And now, I don't ever want to stop listening. Thanks for spending this time with us. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tales from the heart. We'll see you in the next one.